My name is Naomi Grant. My husband, Ethan, was having an affair with his junior lab partner, Lila, in the laboratory when they accidentally caused an explosion. In their panicked escape, they shoved me against scalding metal panels. Blisters instantly erupted across my face and hands, leaving me disfigured after barely surviving. Lila trembled dramatically in Ethan's arms, pointing at my ruined face. Why would Naomi wear such terrifying special effects makeup? She'll frighten the children. Before I could explain, Ethan splashed alcohol on my burns. Let's see you fake this. Is this how you teach our unborn child to lie? His venomous glare pierced me. If it's born a liar, I'll strangle it myself. Years of devotion meant nothing. Yet when news of my fatal fall spread later, he swore to leap off buildings to join me in death. The alcohol trickled down, setting every nerve ablaze. My screams echoed as I writhed on the floor. Ethan filmed my agony, zooming in on my ravaged face. You're supposed to be on maternity leave. This pregnancy turned you into a paranoid stalker. I trembled, trying to explain Lila's distress message summoned me here. But my splitting skin wept blood until I became a crimson horror. Ethan examined the shattered phone before crushing it underfoot. Bringing me broken garbage? I regret letting you carry my child. The gathering crowd gasped as Lila theatrically shielded me. It's just makeup. Stop staring. She exchanged smirks with friends as camera flashes erupted. Look at Naomi crawling like a dog. Making her bark while circling the lab would be hilarious. Pregnancy hormones don't excuse this madness. Should Ethan sob daily to prove his love? Pathetic clinger. Lila's so mature and independent, any man would have dumped Naomi ages ago. My heart constricted. Since my third trimester, I'd received countless ambiguous invitations from Lila that vanished when confronted. Ethan dismissed my concerns as jealousy. After 2 failed hospitalizations for stress-induced preterm labor, his patience evaporated. I came today only because Lila claimed someone tampered with my research data, the very data Ethan now used for childish experiments while embracing her. Their reckless game caused the explosion that scarred me. As I tried escaping, burning chemical flasks exploded across my face. Mockery swirled around my bleeding form. Gripping Ethan's pants, I rasped, "Hospital, the baby." A staff child's terrified wail interrupted. Ethan popped my facial blisters, grinning. "Don't worry. It's fake." Putrid fluid oozed down as uterine contractions seized me. Blood soaked through my clothes. Ethan paled. "Get Naomi to the hospital. Save my air." Lila's whisper cut through. Fake blood for her makeup drama? She was perfectly fine earlier. Ethan's outstretched hand froze mid-air, suspicion hardening his features. "God damn it, almost fell for your act again." He ordered everyone not to help me, taking the team into the lab to salvage data. In the end, the security guard called the ambulance for me. Staring at my reflection, I scheduled an appointment with an internationally renowned cosmetic surgery clinic overseas 3 days later. Dean Elijah Foster's call came as I entered the operating room. "Naomi Grant, your husband Ethan Carter personally accused you of blowing up the lab. You'd better explain this." My mind went blank, the doctor's words fading into distant static. When I regained consciousness, the baby was gone. The same Ethan Carter who'd once crossed half the city to satisfy my midnight cravings had ultimately condemned his long-awaited child to death. Elijah kept demanding I report to his office immediately. When I arrived, he threw lab reports at my face. "Do you realize we're in critical phase? You're a senior researcher. How could you make such a mistake?" His disappointed gaze burned through me. "I wanted to believe you. But the surveillance footage is destroyed. Everyone's pointing fingers at you, even your husband." I numbly handed over my resignation letter. Years of accumulated bonuses were confiscated, leaving me millions in debt. Colleagues avoided eye contact. Then I heard familiar mocking sounds. The central display screen magnified my burned body thrashing on loop. "Looks like a hag. How does Ethan even stomach her? Just turn off the lights, lol. Wonder what pregnant pussy tastes like." A colleague tried shielding me, offering medicinal cream. Before I could thank her, cold gel spread across my face. Excruciating pain exploded as lab ants swarmed my skin. I collapsed screaming. Behind a pillar, Layla Bennett stifled laughter. When Ethan emerged from the lab and saw me, he retched violently. "Are you deliberately humiliating me, Naomi? I thought you'd remove that disgusting fake skin after your attention-seeking phase." Since you love grotesque stunts, he aimed his live stream at my face. Blood dripped steadily as viewers spiked. OMG human ant farm? AI generated? Should have flashed tits for views. Rip her clothes off. Ethan yanked my remaining hair to force eye contact with the camera. Happy now? Thousands are watching. Can't you behave while pregnant? At pregnant, the comments turned rabid. Tears streaked through ant carcasses as Ethan abruptly ended the stream. In the staff room, he carefully removed the insects. Your career's over, Naomi. Our baby's coming soon. Someone needs to support this family. His calculated tone made me vomit. Our marital home now bore spray-painted "Whore Get Out." The door plastered with live stream screenshots. I peeled them off weeping until a neighbor spat on me. Layla's text arrived as I collapsed. Poor Naomi. Your parents disowned you after hearing about the debt. Pathetic mutt. Recalling their lifelong preference for my brother, I staggered back to Ethan's condo. Every surface screamed my shame. The final photo revealing my parents' notarized disownment letter taped where our wedding portrait once hung. I retreated into the house to pack my things, only to discover a glass jar deep inside the closet. It was nearly full of meticulously cleaned birth control items, each labeled with dates corresponding to my birthday, promotion, surgery, and pregnancy confirmation, every crucial moment when I'd needed Ethan. All those times, he'd been tangled with Lila in our marital bed. The door creaked open as Ethan entered, arms laden with luxury brand boxes. I hastily shoved the jar back into the closet, swallowing the lump in my throat. He frowned at my face. Aren't you going to wash that off? Your skin's going to rot. I stared at my blistered reflection, my hand gripping the cup until my knuckles turned white. Why won't you believe I was scalded? He pinched the bridge of his nose irritably, tossing a gift box at me. After all your lies, you expect me to? Haven't you heard of the boy who cried wolf? The box clattered open, revealing deluxe sample-sized cosmetics. Use these. Protect our baby and your face. My phone buzzed with a special alert. Lila had updated her Instagram, a photo of premium skincare products with a heart-shaped hand gesture. My big bro's the best. Who needs holidays for surprises? The device nearly slipped from my trembling hands. Ethan crouched to press his ear against my abdomen. Is baby being good? Don't tire mommy out. His head jerked up. Your stomach looks flatter. Must have skipped lunch, I murmured, watching him scramble to the balcony when his phone rang. Lila's giggles carried through the glass. He returned grinning. Lila thinks you need relaxation time with friends. Couples bonding event tonight. He texted an address before leaving. The incoming video message showed Ethan and Lila drenched in sweat, their bodies writhing on leather cushions. I changed course to my farewell gathering, but Ethan intercepted me at the venue, dragging me into a dimly lit private room. Makeup tables displayed prosthetic skin, blood capsules, and wigs. Two men in black aprons forced me into a chair as Ethan and Lila watched from the couch. Which cheap studio glued this on? The makeup artist tore at my blistered cheek, my screams echoing off the walls. I reached desperately for Ethan. He beamed. Lila found proper special effects artists to redo your accident. Be grateful. As they searched for adhesives, I threw myself to the floor. They dragged me back by the hair, my fingernails scraping bloody trails across the hardwood. He peeled off pieces of skin from my face as I screamed in agony, my consciousness fading. Lila was clinging to Ethan, giggling while trying to get him to drink the Unity toast. My eyelids felt leaden, fractured light patterns dancing before me. Ethan glanced at the bloodied flesh scattered on the floor, his patience snapping. He dragged Lila to the adjacent private room, leaving me crumpled on the tiles like discarded trash. When Ethan returned an hour later, slightly buzzed and intending to ask Naomi how she liked her new prosthetic skin. The booth stood empty. His friend Noah burst in. Voice shaking. Ethan, the surveillance footage, they recovered it. She really did escape the explosion that day. Naomi's phone, we managed to restore half the data. You need to see this. Ethan's face drained of color. After several shuddering breaths, he took the device, knowing whatever awaited would unravel his world. The screen lit up with Lila's venomous texts. Must you wear those granny bras? Ethan says mine look like ripe peaches, juicy and biteable. Then again, what can you expect from a frumpy housewife? He laughed till he cried, describing your pregnancy bloat. Did you roll in pig slop every morning? So gullible. Came running the second I summoned you. Pathetic. Your husband's been mine since day one. Oh. And Ethan's considering removing the incubator after the baby's born. Don't worry, I'll take good care of your child. Unless it acts up, but with your genes, how well could it turn out? Rage turned Ethan's vision crimson. He tried accessing the remaining videos, only to find corrupted files. The door burst open as Lila bounced in. Ethan. Still moping over your hag? Let me cheer you up, she began unbuttoning her blouse. Ethan backed away. Laughter bordering on hysteria. When Lila reached for him, he snapped his fingers. Noah and 3 men materialized behind her. Belts already unbuckled. Ethan slammed the door on her shrieks. Each scream twisting the knife in his chest. Security footage showed 2 makeup artists panicking over my unconscious form. Lila swore these were prosthetics. That's real tissue. Will be charged with murder, they fled, abandoning their kits. Ethan replayed the clip endlessly, desperate for clues until Naomi's phone rang. A nurse's voice floated through. Miss Grant. Your post-miscarriage rehabilitation appointment. The words shattered him. Remembering how flat Naomi's abdomen had felt under his hands, he commandeered a car and sped toward the hospital. Heart hammering like war drums. Where are you hiding now, my love? Meanwhile, at 30,000 feet, Grace squeezed my bandaged hand. We'll find the best specialists. Naomi. I swear it. I couldn't speak. Could barely return the pressure. Below us, the Atlantic deepened into endless blue. Back in the private room, Grace, who'd been waiting for me, started searching every compartment for my whereabouts. When she found me, my face and arms were completely mangled. She immediately contacted the manager to replace surveillance footage, ensuring Ethan couldn't track me down. Grace's tears dripped onto my shoulder as I lay helpless, unable to comfort her. Airport staff wheeled my gurney off the plane where paramedics stood ready. Through my medical mask, I glimpsed almond-shaped eyes crinkling above an N95. His name tag read Elijah. He cradled my hand while maneuvering the stretcher, his voice steadying me. We've assembled top reconstructive surgeons. When you wake up, everything will be healed. Rest now, the worst is over. Darkness swallowed me whole. In dreams, I revisited Ethan's charismatic college speeches that first captivated me. I'd orbit him constantly, lectures, field trips, cafeteria lines, until he finally noticed me. Our fairy tale wedding soon curdled into marital drudgery. His thrill-seeking resurfaced during my pregnancy, then exploded when Lila entered the picture. Waking bandaged like a mummy, I found Grace with puffy eyes. Forensic experts recovered lab footage. The hospital withdrew their lawsuit and will restore your bonuses plus compensation. We're turning the page. Naomi. Sunlight streamed through windows as I managed my first real smile in weeks. Elijah gently knocked before examining my throat with a penlight. My attempts to speak produced only rasping. He administered hydration via 4. His hand soothing circles on my back. Respiratory burns from the explosion. We'll bring in specialists. But the surgery went smoothly. Memory flickered. Childhood sandbox games were serious. Elijah used twig syringes on pretend injuries. Trembling fingers traced letters on his palm. My sandbox doctor? His eyes sparkled. Guilty. Over days, he shared how his father's accident drove their family overseas. His mother severed all ties. though Elijah secretly searched social media for me during brief returns. Your lab obsession made you a ghost online until your medical file crossed my desk. His thumb brushed my wrist. Meant to be. My eyes grew misty. Years ago, I'd also thrown tantrums begging for an older brother. My mother had tried finding one for me too. But that endeavor faded like smoke. As years passed, the longing dimmed until fate circled us back here. Elijah noticed my melancholy and wheeled me to the courtyard. By the corner stood a delicate peach blossom sapling. I stared in disbelief. These can grow here? His fingers brushed the petals with lingering tenderness. It took years of nurturing. But I'm grateful, these blooms kept your memory alive. A soft smile appeared. We did promise to marry beneath peach blossoms. Remember? Heat flooded my cheeks. I couldn't bring myself to explain my ordeal. But he tactfully avoided prying. Grace secured my new residence, while Elijah promised to escort me upon discharge. She'd already returned to finalize my divorce proceedings. News outlets now blazed with lab explosion coverage. Ethan and Lila's affair video went viral. When netizens realized the livestream was authentic, outrage erupted. They condemned Ethan's cruelty toward his wife of years, doxing the couple's addresses until they became prisoners in their own home. Reports claimed Lila had fractured mentally since the club incident, muttering no incessantly with barely 2 sober hours daily. Paparazzi caught Ethan vaulting balconies to hijack a getaway car. He later stormed Lila's residence with homemade explosives, scattering the mob before abducting her. Authorities continued searching nationwide. Elijah blocked my tablet mid-article. You're overseas now. Stress hinders recovery. His stethoscope pressed against my chest as neighboring patients giggled. Is Dr. Foster sweet on his girlfriend? So attentive with daily rounds. Save us some wedding favors. I turned away hastily, missing Elijah's crimson-tipped ears. Later, when he asked about absent family, silence stretched until his palm warmed my crown. I'll stay till you're discharged. The door exploded inward. Ethan stood disheveled, filthy clothes, wild beard, dragging a battered Lila. Who said you could touch my wife? He flung her forward. Apologize. Lila convulsed, forehead hammering tiles. Forgive me. I'll disappear. Treat me like trash, just let me go. Her once beautiful face lay ruined, bruises, claw marks, whiplashes crosshatching exposed flesh. The stench of infection hung thick. Ethan watched me hopefully. When I remained impassive, he seized Lila's hair, smashing her skull against concrete. Her screams dissolved into mindless giggles, drool soaking the floor. A bottle of sulfuric acid was thrust into my hands. Ethan Carter stared at me with grim determination. Naomi. If it weren't for her, we wouldn't have come to this. I brought her here so you could settle the score. His voice cracked. We wouldn't have lost our child otherwise. Do what you need to. I'll take full responsibility. Disappointment tightened my throat. I'd imagined Ethan apologizing, begging forgiveness, even dismissing me with contempt. Never had I expected him to make Lila the sacrificial lamb while erasing his own role. I deliberately tilted the acid toward Ethan, though my aim faltered. Droplets still seared his forearm. Flesh sizzled as he staggered. Christ. Naomi, he clutched his melting skin. Comprehension dawning. It burns this badly? And I. God. What did I let happen to you? His grief mutated into fury as he spat Lila's name. You're too soft-hearted. If you won't finish this, I will. The slam of his car door echoed through my bones long after his taillights vanished. Elijah Foster helped me file the police report. But the officers arrived too late. The video arrived first, security camera footage showing Lila shackled in some derelict basement. Ethan kept throwing acid while she giggled through disintegrating flesh, her manic laughter curdling into screams as she writhed against concrete. The frame flipped to reveal Ethan's deranged grin. See? Naomi? I'll make every tormentor pay. No one hurts my family again. He appended the last acid onto his own arm. Howls reverberating through the speakers. I forwarded the evidence to detectives. Numbness settled over me like ash. Heavier than fear or rage. Weeks passed. The protective detail outside my hospital room dissolved. Elijah was driving me home when he hesitated at my apartment curb. Naomi, his knuckles whitened on the steering wheel. Let me take you to my place. That lunatic could be anywhere. I agreed. Yet each night, acid-drenched nightmares dissolved into cold sweats. As Elijah's sedan turned around, blacked-out headlights blinded us. The bald, faceless thing that used to be Ethan lurched from an unmarked vehicle, clawing at my window. Give me another chance. I'll fix everything. Revulsion steadied my voice. You helped destroy our child. Why should I believe you? Acid scars glistened as tears tracked through them. I've changed. I'll be whatever you need. Drive through, I told Elijah. Tires screeched. Metal crunched. Ethan's body rolled across asphalt, fingers still twitching toward me. Police later ruled it self-defense given the video evidence and eyewitness accounts. They dragged him away cursing. His melted eyes locked on me until the cruiser vanished. The silence afterward tasted cleaner than any apology. After finally enjoying a few peaceful days, Elijah Foster still insisted I move into his home. Unable to refuse, I reluctantly agreed. The day to remove the bandages arrived swiftly. As the gauze unwound, revealing delicate features beneath, I felt utterly satisfied. Elijah frowned. My skills still fall short. I couldn't capture your original vitality at all. I reassured him with a smile that I was perfectly content. When the police summoned me to the station, I assumed it involved routine cooperation. Instead, they revealed Ethan Carter had been demanding to see me, refusing to sign his confession otherwise. He'd clearly groomed himself meticulously for our meeting, yet fidgeted nervously behind the glass. Naomi, I'm so glad you came, he stammered, eyes tracing my healed face. You look beautiful. At least I didn't ruin your life completely. His rambling ceased abruptly when I slid the divorce papers forward, watching him shred the documents in frenzied rage, bloodying his fists against the reinforced glass. I calmly produced duplicate copies. Tear away. I have spares. His anguished screams echoed as guards restrained him. We spent years together. You pursued me. How dare you abandon me now? I'll make it up after prison. When I asked what he'd truly been doing in the lab that night, his lies crumbled faster than the video evidence I played, illicit moans and vulgar comparisons between me and Lila Bennett permeating the interrogation room. Collapsing to his knees, Ethan sobbed apologies about one last mistake and empty promises of fatherhood. Exhausted, I turned away from his shattered pleas. Grace Murphy's urgent message interrupted the coastal drive Elijah insisted we take. Her investigative report exposed Lila's corporate espionage, the lab affairs merely cover for stealing medical research for foreign biotech firms. International arrest warrants now circulate as Lila's company portrait dominates news feeds worldwide. Waves lapped rhythmically against the pier as Elijah's quiet presence anchored me. For the first time, the horizon looked truly clear. When Interpol tracked Lila down and broke through the door, Lila was already unconscious. Even her lower body was covered in filth, with traces lingering around her mouth. It wasn't hard to imagine what desperate measures Naomi had resorted to for survival. My bank account received additional compensation from the hospital director. His voice trembled with remorse during our call. I'm sorry, Naomi. After working with you for so long, I'm ashamed I ever doubted you. Take all the time you need to recover overseas. If you're willing, I'd rehire you as a professor at double your previous salary. Your research projects remain untouched. I'll keep your position open indefinitely. I declined his offer, promising to reconsider later. Mom's text arrived next. Frowny face Naomi. Mom's so sorry. When your stepdad heard about your situation, he forced us to move overnight. He confiscated my phone. I failed you as a mother when you needed protection most. If you can forgive me, I'll divorce him and care for you forever. The conflicting emotions left me numb. I didn't reply. Perhaps time would eventually heal these wounds. But not yet. Elijah insisted I stay with him until Ethan's sentencing. When conviction news finally came, I prepared an elaborate gift to thank him. As he dropped me off that evening, I watched his taillights disappear down the street. The chloroform-soaked rag struck before I reached my doorstep. I awoke near cliff's edge. Sea winds whipping my hair. Ethan knelt before me, tenderly tucking strands behind my ear. Let's escape this cruel world together, Naomi. I'll make up for everything in the afterlife. As he dragged me toward the precipice, Elijah's roar shattered the moment. Naomi. Duck. The gunshot echoed before I fully processed the command. Ethan staggered backward with crimson blossoming over his chest. My relief died as his sister yanked me toward the abyss. Falling. Then, iron grip on my wrist. Elijah's bloodied hands anchored me to the cliff edge as police swarmed behind him. We watched Ethan's body shatter against jagged rocks below. News outlets later reported Ethan's crimes: homicide, harboring international fugitives, assault, kidnapping. His on-site execution sparked viral celebrations across social media. When spring blossoms unfurled, I found Elijah blushing beneath peach trees, clutching wildflowers. Without hesitation, I walked toward my second chance, toward our slowly unfolding future where damaged souls could rewrite their stories.